I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. UFC 301, Pantoja taking on Steve Erceg. And before we get into making predictions, we look at my bets from last week. I essentially broke even. We can see I had Silva, and Silva, pure domination really. Round 1, easy round. Round 2, even easier. You can give Lipski the final round, but for the most part, Silva just proving what we already know. She's a real prospect. And then you're looking at David Onama, and I said in my breakdown that David Onama, this dude's a real nightmare. Anywhere you take the fight, he's a nightmare. You go to the mat, you stay on the feet. It doesn't matter where the fight is. David Onama, that dude's a dog, and he's getting better. Real problem. Then I had a losing parlay, which was a losing parlay, but then you look at the plus 210. In my opinion, that's a winning parlay. When they all said 29-28 on Figlak and Austin Hubbard, I was sure that was Figlak. I was sure. And I know every round was close. Every round was a good round, but when they all said 29-28, I was like, okay, parlay done, because Medic, I changed my prediction on that, by the way. And if you want to see the predictions that I changed for this card, because I might change a couple, go to the pinned comment on Saturday. But yeah, essentially broke even, didn't do bad, didn't do good. I believe I should have profited. Like I said, that plus 210 parlay, Medic, Figlak and Machete. And by the way, Gabriel Benitez in a real scrap. Credit to Gabriel Benitez. But yeah, yeah guys, let's go to Money City and then we're going to break down UFC 301. Let's go. Now guys, Alessandro Costa, the calf kick. The calf kick is super nasty, super quick. And that's a weapon that he displayed over and over against Jimmy Flick, right? The calf kick was money, pure dustoration. However guys, Kevin Borjas isn't really a punch bag like Jimmy Flick. So Alessandro Costa's going to throw that calf kick, but the success rate shouldn't be as high. Then you're looking at Alessandro Costa in his most recent fight against Steve Erceg. And Steve Erceg's in the main event, right? So losing that fight to Steve Erceg, in hindsight, it doesn't seem that bad. Now, Kevin Borjas, he had a good fight against Josh Van. Like a really decent scrap. You're seeing in round 1 that Kevin Borjas, the success, you know, round 1, took round 1 against Josh Van. But then Josh Van, as we know, this dude's a scrapper. You know what I'm saying? He'll walk forward, invest to the body. And he brought Peruvian Kev into a scrap. And Kev wasn't really prepared. And what you kind of see in that loss for Kevin Borjas, proving Kev, was, you know, the cardio wasn't great. And you could say, well, you know, rip into the body, rip into the breadbasket, it's going to slow him down. And it did, you know, Josh Van's a scrapper. But yeah, this one is kind of difficult to pick. I'm going to side with the homie, proving Kev. Now moving into a matchup between Ismael Bonfim taking on Vinc Pichel. Now guys, it's an easy pick. Ismael Bonfim, 28, Vinc Pichel 41. So there's a massive age difference, right? And you're going to see that in the fight. Now Vinc Pichel does have the experience, and some people might say, well, hang on, Ismael Bonfim's had more professional fights than Vinc Pichel, so how does Vinc have the experience? Now Vinc has fought in the UFC for a while, so he's fought much better competition than Ismael Bonfim. So even though Ismael's had more professional fights, he's had more fights against lower competition, right? But here's the thing, experience doesn't really win this matchup. For Vinc Pichel to win this fight, he's essentially got to push Ismael Bonfim against the fence, or even hold him on the mat. And the reason as to why that is, let's say this matchup stays on the feet, then you're going to see Bonfim with the much faster boxing, technically better boxing, superior boxing, and the speed, right? So you're going to see Vinc Pichel get really pieced up on the feet. So to win the matchup, he's essentially got to keep Bonfim from throwing punches. And that's not going to be an easy thing to do in Brazil. So yeah, give me Bonfim to essentially dust Vinc Pichel in Brazil. Round 1, round 2. I know Vinc is tough, right? He's tough, but the speed difference here. You know, if this matchup's on the feet, Vinc is getting pieced up. Now moving into a matchup between Dione Barbosa taking on Ernesta Kareckaite, and I've not done a lot of tape on this one. With Dione Barbosa, it's elite jiu-jitsu and also judo, so it's all about grappling. With Ernesta, it's more about the kickboxing, more about the boxing. So essentially you've got grappler versus striker It's one of those matchups. But in my opinion, it's a real gamble because you've got a 5-1 professional against a 6-2 professional. Who wins the matchup? I don't know. It's low level. It's more of a Contender Series matchup. And in my opinion, I'm not trying to bet Contender Series matchups. But yeah, if I had to pick, this is like Dontal Mays and Kyle Machado from last week. If I had to make a pick, oh man, who would I pick? I mean, here's the thing. If it goes to the mat, you're wishing you picked Barbosa. If it stays on the feet, you're wishing you picked Ernesta. It's one of those. It's one of those. In my opinion, give me Ernesta. I'll take Ernesta, the underdog. Now moving into a matchup between Mauricio Ruffy taking on Jamie Mullarkey. Now guys, here's the thing. Mauricio Ruffy making his UFC debut. Extremely sharp, extremely technical on the feet. Now Jamie Mullarkey is the opposite to being extremely technical, extremely sharp. If you look at Jamie Mullarkey defensively, he's absolutely terrible. Terrible. And that's just been the way of Jamie. You know, defensively, he's always been the same. You know, can't see the punches. And if you can't see the punches coming, you're going to get hit. And that's what happens with Jamie Mullarkey. He gets hit often. And most recently got knocked out very badly by Nasrat Haqparast, which is kind of, you know, logical, seeing as Nasrat is a super sharp boxer. Just like Mauricio Ruffy, this guy's sharp, technical. Guys, I'd kind of compare Jamie Mullarkey to Austin Hubbard from last week. But the thing against Austin is defensively he's not good, so you're going to find your shots. And that's the same with Jamie. You know, Jamie's looking for a fight, but defensively he's never been good. So because of that, he finds himself getting hurt in the fight or potentially knocked out. So give me the newcomer who's much sharper, much faster, and I expect him to essentially dust Jamie Mullarkey. Now moving into a matchup between Joaquim Silva taking on Drakkar Klose. Now guys, if I told you Drakkar is older than Joaquim Silva, would you believe me? Because apparently Drakkar's older than Joaquim Silva. But when you look at Joaquim Silva and Drakkar Klose go to the cage, you'd never really guess that Drakkar Klose is older than Joaquim Silva. You just wouldn't. Now guys, when you really think about it, this matchup is very entertaining. Super entertaining because Joaquim Silva, this may be his last time fighting in Brazil. And that's how it's kind of entertaining, because when it's your last time fighting in Brazil, you're pretty old, you're getting towards the end of your career. You're going to bring it. You know, you're going to bring the fire. And Drakkar Klose, this guy's boxing, it's always been very good. It's always been technically very sharp. And Drakkar Klose is not running from any opponent. So if Joaquim Silva's walking forward, throwing big overhands, big hooks, Drakkar Klose is going to engage with that. You know, he's going to try to find his counters. So guys, in my opinion, expect violence, expect chaos, expect the matchup not to go the distance. Give me Drakkar Klose. Now moving into a matchup between Gene Silva taking on William Gomis. And guys, this one's a banger. It's an absolute banger because Gene Silva, this guy's very aggressive. He's got big knockout power. But then you're looking at William Gomis and you're seeing, okay, the aggression isn't the same as Gene Silva. What I'm seeing more with William Gomis, this guy's playing chess, not checkers. When you're trying to be very light on your feet and you're constantly light, you're constantly reading the opponent, you're staying very calculated. When you do that, it's very hard to do. Like, it's extremely hard to do. You may stay locked in for round one, but then you start to notice, you know, I'm not as light on my feet in round two. I'm missing a few things that the opponent's doing. You know, it becomes difficult to do, right? If everyone could do it, they really would. Now, if William Gomis gets tired, he might get caught because Gene Silva is very aggressive, right? So if you slow down with that style and Gene Silva starts to find the target, then you're in a world of trouble. But in my opinion, I'm still going to take the guy that's playing chess over the guy that's playing checkers. I think Gene Silva's, you know, he's tough, he's aggressive, but I think it's going to be difficult for Gene Silva to really find a target against William Gomis. Gomis is so quick. And the thing about fighting someone like William Gomis, you realise very quickly, okay, this guy's the real deal. This guy's really playing a chess match. And when you come across someone like that, kind of realise it's not going to be so easy to find the target. I've got to play the chess match to find my openings. The opening's not going to be presented to me. I've got to create it. So yeah, guys, in my opinion, give me William Gomis to go over to Brazil and get it done. Potentially on the scorecard. Now moving into a matchup between who we got. We've got Alves Brener taking on Mikdebek Orolbai. And guys, here's the thing. Alves Brener fights at Shooter Box. Now, Shooter Box is Muay Thai on the feet. If we go to the mat, we're playing Jiu-Jitsu. If you train at Shooter Box, you're a mini Charles Oliveira. You're Charles Oliveira's son. You're going to fight like Charles Oliveira. So on the feet, it's Muay Thai. Kicks, knees, elbows. You're looking to create damage with Muay Thai. if you get taken to the mat, which in this case, Brener will be taken to the mat because Orolbai is a wrestler. If you get taken to the mat, it's simple. You're looking to play jiu-jitsu. You're playing the guard game. So that means you're looking for arm bars, triangle chokes, sweeps. You can smack the opponent with some elbows off your back to open up the opponent, you know, cut the opponent. You're looking for damage at all times. You're looking to be a menace at all times, just like Charles Oliveira. And we do see that in the game of Alves Brener. We see that in the game of pretty much anyone who trains at Shooter Box. Now, for Orolbai to win the matchup, he's got to get Alves Brener to the mat. But not only get him to the mat, to prove that he's better than him on the mat. Because, like I said, Alves Brener's going to throw up arm bars, triangle chokes. He's going to look to use his jiu-jitsu. Orolbai's got to prove, look, my wrestling better than your jiu-jitsu. So yeah, good matchup. In my opinion, give me the wrestler. Give me Miktibek Orolbai. But guys, this might be a fight breakdown where I change my prediction later in the week. Look out for the pinned comment or the post on the community tab or my Instagram or my Patreon. Look out for any of those places because I may change some of these predictions later in the week. I did that on my last card and it didn't go too great. If you want to see who I changed my prediction to, go to the community tab and you can read up for my changed predictions. But yeah, it didn't go too great. It did go good with Alex Perez and Uros Medic, but the rest, kinda dusty. But yeah, give me the wrestler, Miktibek Orolbai. Now moving into a matchup between Karolina Kowalkiewicz taking on Yasmin Lucindo. And guys, easy prediction, super easy. Guys, I believe there's like a 16-year age gap. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, we've got a 16-year age gap. Oh my goodness. So Karolina Kowalkiewicz is nearly 40 and Yasmin Lucindo's 22. So yeah, as you can imagine, there's going to be a... You know what? This should be illegal. It should be illegal. How is Karolina, who's nearly 40, being put in there with Yasmin Lucindo, who's like a 15-year-old boy going through puberty, looking all juiced up, looking powerful? Guys, come on now. Come on. I'm not even going to break it down. I'm just going to tell you, Yasmin Lucindo is going to smash Karolina Kowalkiewicz on the feet and on the mat. And after this fight, you know, I'm going to say it. How is this legal? How are you putting in Karolina against... Oh man, come on. Guys, this is pure dusteration. Pure dusteration. Yasmin Lucindo wins. Now moving into a matchup between Joanderson Brito taking on Jack Shaw. And guys, Joanderson Brito extremely dangerous, extremely aggressive, and he could stop Jack Shaw on the mat or on the feet, right? And that's just what you've got with Joanderson Brito. Just extremely dangerous, wild, aggressive. But then you're looking at Jack Shaw on the feet. And Jack Shaw's not aggressive on the feet. He's more traditional, more basic. You've got more of a chance at not getting stopped if you're kickboxing with Jack Shaw. And that's because Jack Shaw just uses a standard jab and a standard low kick. And that's because he's primarily a jiu-jitsu player. Jack Shaw wants to get you on the mat. He wants to make you grapple. So that's what he's going to try to do against Joanderson Brito. And Joanderson Brito, his jiu-jitsu's good. It's very decent. However, as Joanderson Brito starts to fatigue, that's where you're going to see the difference on the mat start to really show. Jack Shaw's grappling is very good, and if you get tired and you're made to grapple with Jack Shaw, it doesn't really matter how good your grappling is if you're unable to use the sweeps, you know, unable to escape, right? And that's what you're going to see here. As this fight progresses, if Joanderson Brito gets tired and he's made to grapple, I think Jack Shaw could get it done. But if Jack Shaw stays on the feet and he's made to trade with Joanderson Brito, then Jack Shaw might go night-night. It's one of those fights, pure entertainment, pure violence. Give me the Welshman. Give me Jack Shaw to essentially submit Joanderson Brito or to win a close fight over 15 minutes based on Joanderson Brito kind of fatiguing. Give me Jack Shaw. Now guys, moving into a matchup between Paul Craig taking on Kyle Bahello. And I've always kind of disliked Paul Craig. I like Paul Craig for what he's supposed to be liked for, right? And that's his jiu-jitsu. But when you look at Paul Craig outside of the jiu-jitsu, he's really bad. Like extremely bad. His boxing is terrible. His kicking's terrible. His cardio's terrible. His chin durability, terrible. His wrestling, non-existent. He's got to pull guard to get the fight to the mat. So his skill set outside of jiu-jitsu is kind of dusty. It's non-existent. And guys, there's always going to be people that will bet on the Paul Craig prop, submission prop, right? And that's exactly what you want to do because he's not finding a TKO. He's not winning over 15 minutes. He's not outpointing the opponent. He just submits the opponent and that's it. So when it comes to mixed martial arts, right? A sport where you've got to have a well-rounded skill set. Paul Craig is dusty. Now you're looking at Kyle Bahello. This guy's also a jiu-jitsu player, just like Paul Craig. But outside of the jiu-jitsu, he's got something. He's got a granite chin. His wrestling is very decent. When Kyle Bahello drives on the takedown, he gets them. He drives through, which is what you want to do when it comes to wrestling. Then you're looking at the teep kicks of Kyle Bahello. So the Muay Thai is kind of okay. You know, the teep kick. He'll push you away with that kick. So there's more of a skill set to Kyle. And the only way that Paul Craig would win the matchup is simply throw up an armbar or a triangle. You know, he's got to be in the guard of Paul Craig. If Paul Craig isn't playing the guard, how does he get a submission? Is he going to get the back of Kyle Bahello? Probably not. So guys, in my opinion, if Kyle Bahello avoids the guard of Paul Craig, if he's never in the guard, I don't see him losing. So give me the Brazilian Kyle Bahello, not only to beat Paul Craig, the jiu-jitsu specialist, but to find a stoppage. I think he's going to dust Paul Craig. Now moving into a matchup between Michel Pereira taking on Ihor Potieria. And guys, Potieria, in all fairness, the dude has improved, right? He lost to Rodolfo Bellotto, but in my opinion, probably got a stoppage. You know, the ref's got to stop that. Then he went in there against Robert Brycek, looked okay. So the improvements that Poteria's made, specifically in the stand-up, I think defensively and offensively, he's a little bit better. But the problem is, you're going over to Brazil to fight Michel Pereira. And Michel Pereira, this guy's dangerous. So dangerous. The teep kick, the explosive fight-ending punches. If you get hit clean early by Michel Pereira, you're going to sleep. And it's just as simple as that. Now, to beat Michel Pereira, you've essentially got to survive round one. Once you survive round one, now you start to take over. Now you start to do more than what Michel Pereira is going to do. Because Michel Pereira's got a style where he kind of fatigues. You know, the style that Michel Pereira uses, it takes a lot of energy. So essentially, you want to survive round one. And when you do, start to take over. You know, start to make Michel Pereira pay for that bad cardio. And it's not even to do with the cardio. It's more to do with the excessive amount of energy that Michel Pereira is going to use. That's just his style. It's very dangerous. So yeah, Poteria's got to survive round one. But guys, in my opinion, even if he does survive round one, I just don't think he's got the experience to really deal with a guy like Michel Pereira. So give me the Brazilian and give me another stoppage. Now moving into a matchup between Anthony Smith taking on Vitor Petrino. And guys, it's an easy pick. It's a very easy prediction to make, respectfully, to Anthony Smith, to Lionheart. The dude's a legend, the dude's a veteran, right? But it's not a fight that Anthony Smith's going to do well in at this point in his UFC career. And the reason as to why that is, reaction-wise, defensively, Anthony Smith is really bad. You know, so hittable, extremely hittable. And against a guy like Vitor Petrino, a guy that, you know, look at the size of this guy's legs. This guy's legs are like tree trunks. And when those types of legs smack you with a clean kick, it really hurts. So a guy like Vitor Petrino, he's going to find the head kick, the calf kick against Anthony Smith. So what's Anthony Smith got to do to really find success against someone like Vitor Petrino? You can't go in there and try to box. You know, you're not quick enough. You're not sharp enough at this point. So really, Anthony Smith has to get Vitor Petrino to the mat. But then you're looking at Anthony Smith with his wrestling. It's not going to be good enough to get Vitor to the mat. This guy's big. Vitor Petrino, this is a big dude, a big 205er. So I'm kind of seeing a matchup for Anthony where, you know, respectfully, it's an easy fight for Vitor Petrino. If this matchup happens like 5 years ago, then we're not doing this breakdown. You know, we're saying like Anthony Smith's going to go in there and school Vitor Petrino. Who's this guy? This guy ain't got the experience to go to the cage against Anthony Smith. Who's this guy? But that's not the case. You know, it's 2024. Anthony Smith, you know, it's looking bad. It's not looking good performance-wise. So yeah, guys, in my opinion, it's another stoppage, whether it be the check hook of Vitor Petrino, a head kick, or calf kicks, or ground and pound, or a submission. I think Vitor Petrino is going to essentially dominate Lionheart, Anthony Smith. Give me the Brazilian. Now moving into the co-main event, we've got Jonathan Martinez taking on Jose Aldo. Now guys, here's the thing. Jose Aldo is literally the master of the calf kick. If you know anything about Jose Aldo, if you've been watching Jose Aldo over the years, you know that his calf kicks are extremely dangerous, extremely powerful. He's the master of the low kick. However, not anymore. right? That was something that Jose Aldo showed years ago. He doesn't really find that low kick like he used to, right? But Jonathan Martinez is someone that finds that low kick. Jonathan Martinez is a beautiful kicker, one of the best kickers in the UFC. Like, his kicks, his management of range is so good. And that's really what I love about this co-main event. You know, you're giving Jonathan Martinez a chance to show everyone, look, I'm a real technician. I'm a real chess player. I'm going to go to battle in a strategic way against Jose Aldo. And I'm going to show you guys just how good I am. He's already shown that. Right, he's already shown just how beautiful of a kicker he is. His kicks are so dangerous. His management of range. Now guys, Jose Aldo, his hook to the body. He really rips to the body. And if you're not careful, he'll stop you with that weapon. The hook to the body is pure money for Jose Aldo, pure money for Scarface. However guys, like we just explained with Jonathan Martinez, he's a technician. He wants to manage the range. He wants to play, you know, you make this move, I make that move. We're going to play this strategic striking chess match. So for Jose Aldo to get into boxing range, to find that hook to the body, it's not going to be easy against Jonathan Martinez. So Jose Aldo's going to have a tough fight, right? He's going to be essentially challenged at what he normally does, and that's, you know, outsmart the opponent, show the opponent, look, I'm a dangerous striker and you can't make mistakes against me. And that's what you're going to see in the co-main event. You're going to see Jonathan Martinez ask Jose Aldo, look, can you find that calf kick? Can you find it? I'm going to find mine. You try find yours. You know, he's going to present questions to Jose Aldo that Jose Aldo used to present to other people. It's a great co-main event, but ultimately the king of Rio de Janeiro, Scarface, I don't think he's going to win the matchup. Give me Dragon Martinez in the co-main event. Now moving into the main event, we've got Alexandre Pantoja taking on Steve Erceg for the flyweight title. And Pantoja, you know, this guy's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu player, an extremely high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu player. His grappling is so dangerous. Like, if Steve Erceg wants to win the matchup, more than likely you avoid the mat, you avoid the grappling of Pantoja. And that's not to say that Pantoja's bad in the kickboxing, but there is more mistake in Pantoja on the feet. You know, he's more aggressive on the feet, very aggressive. The moment the ref says fight, Pantoja's fighting. Instantly, Pantoja's walking forward, throwing big hooks, overhands, you know, big kicks to the body. And then he'll try to mix in the grappling, get you to the mat. And that's where he really excels. So the moment the ref says fight, Pantoja's fighting. And he's using a lot of energy early in the fight. And because of that, he kind of gets tired pretty quickly. And someone that's so sharp, so technically sharp as Steve Erceg in the boxing, you kind of don't want to be tired and have to fight on the feet. But guys, here's the thing. Pantoja's so tough. Like, so tough. Even if he gets tired, he's still not going to quit. And even if you knock him to the mat, he'll probably just drop straight into a single leg, right? And that's one of the real positives for Pantoja. Not only is his grappling extremely good, but his toughness and experience. That's two things that can really keep him in the fight. So even if Pantoja uses a lot of energy early in round one, gets tired, and then starts to get boxed up, he's so tough that he'll still get a takedown. He'll still find the back of Steve Erceg. And when he does, that's where Steve Erceg is in real danger. The grappling, the jiu-jitsu of Pantoja is extremely good. So in my opinion, Steve Erceg, he's done well. But this is a step too much, in my opinion. Pantoja and still. As always, guys, drop down your main event, your co-main event, your parlays, your straight bets, your MoneyCity bets, all that good stuff. Drop in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Peace.